Hello, class. Welcome back. I hope you have had time to review the readings for this week, and I will open the floor for you to be able to ask any questions in regards to those readings. After those are addressed, then we will move forward and discuss some of the theory behind this week's topic, external pathogenic factors. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them now. From our readings from this week, we see that the focus is on this idea of pathogenic invasion being the way that people become ill in traditional Chinese medicine. So, this is before the time of microscopes. The idea of viruses and bacteria were not a thing that was thought of as of yet. And people weren't able to analyze things in a lab. So we had this idea in traditional Chinese medicine that extremities of natural forces in nature can make us feel unwell. And there are two major pathways that external pathogenic factors can invade the body. The first is when an external pathogenic factor of heat invades the body, and those were your readings for this week regarding Wenbing theory. The second was the pathway of external pathogenic cold in the body and the different pathways that it can take. Those were your references to 6 stages or Sheng Heng Lung theory. So we'll go over both theories very broadly this week, kind of look at some of the key signs and symptoms for each one of these invasions. And then we'll build on this for next week with additional details as well as case studies that will help us to elaborate on this topic. For your external pathogenic factor theories, we want to recall that in order for someone to contract external heat or external colds, that there is an implication that somehow the person's Wei Qi or their defensive Qi is not strong enough, that they don't have very strong immunity. So it's kind of a given factor that people may have less healthy Wei Qi, and usually in addition to being corresponded with the lung element and the metal element, we'll also see that there is usually some deep-rooted spleen Qi deficiency that can also contribute to this Wei Qi deficiency. Now remember, some of us may be born with constitutional deficiencies, and it is possible, especially if you were someone who was born premature or have had a lifelong history of asthma, bronchitis, that you may be constitutionally a little more Wei Qi deficient than some of the others among us. So one of the first ways to prevent external pathogenic factors from invading the body is making sure that your spleen is tonifying and transporting food so that you can develop your Wei Qi properly. So even for these external pathogenic factors that are going to invade our lungs, you still very often want to start with tonification of the spleen. So eating the best foods that are available, that are best for your body type, are usually the first recommendations. And then we can also integrate in some more spleen tonifying foods. So recall, those earth tonifying foods are very often root vegetables. Things like sweet potatoes, for example, would be a good way of tonifying the spleen and earth element. We can also look at foods such as where carrots, things that grow in the ground, squash, things along that line would be very fortifying for the spleen. Now, some pathogenic invasions are not polite, as I like to call them, meaning they're not going to take the easy way in and wait for your body to be able to expel them. Some are stronger and they can hit the body at a higher level. So these pathogenic invasions, for example, what we're seeing with the COVID virus, can impact the body at a deeper level as a direct strike. So you don't have to start at the first level and work your way up. You have some pathogenic invasions that are very strong and are going to strike the body directly.